Do you know what? We don't actually know each other that well. But we did meet at the Greenmount projects. Actually, funny enough, I was there with Fran that day filming content. And I've been meaning to like message you for ages, and then basically with the content moon, we crammed like 2 years of work into 8 months, and yeah, it's been a complete mad year for loads of different things going on. But we're here now, and there's still a few like odd jobs in the room that they're doing. But with that, I'm inviting more people on, and obviously 100%. People that want to obviously get on. So we're here. So for anyone in my audience who might not be aware of who you are you and what do you do?
So what do I do? Dave Matthews. I own 2 companies and I help run a third. So I own Indie Management Consultants. That's a freelance sales consultancy business. So a lot of companies out there, they can't afford to have a sales director in place. You're looking at 70 grand plus a cut of commission, so on and so forth. They might be growing to that sort of standard and they try and build up a team. They can basically lease me or lease a couple of members of my team over to their company, and we can create a team for them. We can put all the procedures in place. We can actually create business for them and everything else like that. So we do that. Also got Indie Sport that I'm really, really passionate about. So what Indie Sport is, it's a online platform like Amazon, but for sports sponsorship, especially aimed towards, I would say, grassroots. So we've got athletes, we've got all different types of sports teams on there. And the reason why I came about with that is when Indie Management Consultants was going really well, I got a little bit of commission and I was, oh, fantastic. I want to kind of like spend this on something to show that I'm doing well. So I went to a local team, I'm not going to mention them what their name is, spoke to their secretary and said, I would like to sponsor the team. I want Indie Management Consultants logo on the top. Absolutely fine. So this is how much I want to spend. Took 3 months to get through to the actual right person, chairperson. They've already sold it to someone else for half the price that I wanted to buy it for. Yeah. So I was a bit cheesed off about that. So I put it on Facebook saying I'm a bit annoyed about this. And then my mate who runs a rugby club in Wigan, because that's why I'm adopted. I'm originally from London, but I'm adopted in Wigan, said, is there any chance you can sponsor a couple of the players then? It was far less than what I wanted, but I thought I'll do it. Then I asked a question, I went, how do you get sponsorships? And they went, all through word of mouth. Yeah. It's either someone's brothers, sisters, uncles, whatever's got a carpentry firm, got a whatever firm, a legal firm. And then they just basically reach out that way. So I thought there's a massive divide here because I know loads of companies that want to sponsor people and feel would benefit of actually sponsoring teams. Could be for social value, it could be for PR, it could be for just generally just want to give back to the community. And also I've got loads of teams out there that have to really claw together. And I know that are shutting down and closing because there's no funding out there for them. So I thought, create that, make it easy. Takes 4 minutes. You just go on there, select the area, how much you want to spend. Loads of teams come up. You select which team you want, what sponsorship package you want, pay for it. Your details, like your logo, brief bio about your company, gets sent over to the speed team, and vice versa. Payment goes through, team gets paid. Bob's your uncle, already done. So I've done that. And my third business that I'm helping run is Hybrid Tech, and I'm helping them out with their sales department. Well, I'm part of the head of the growth, should we say. Hybrid Tech has started off as a training firm in Aintree. Started on like doing things, if you're a gas engineer, you know what it is, what they call ACSs. Yeah. Done a little bit of apprenticeship, so on and so forth. Now they've grown to a national company. So they're based in London, they're based in Kent, they're based in Birmingham, Newcastle, Manchester, Lancashire, Liverpool. I think it's opening up in Leeds soon. So you can make this absolutely massive company there. And and now they're looking to try and go international. Love it. So I'm trying to help them out with that. Love it. So I talk a lot.
Sophie, I've been trying to get you on the podcast for months now.
Sophie Gilmore, yeah, I'll get her on.
Hard woman to pin down.
Do you know what? She's the most busiest person I've met in my life. So you've got to think she's taken a company that was, like I said, very regionalised, now made it national.
That's unbelievable.
And she's just pushing it. And that's only within like 3 to 4 years.
Do you know what? I for the relative success that we've had, I know how hard that must be. I know how hard this has been to get to where it is. So, I'm always quite proud of the fact there's a bit of a wow factor when people come in here. Now, funny enough, I was going to match race, and the lad, so we got 4 lads who I don't really know that well, but I sit next to them at the match. I've sat next to them at the match for years. Anyway, I couldn't make the match one day, and I was given, what it was some lad couldn't make the match, so he gave me his ticket for someone else. So I had this season ticket card, and one day I was networking in Box Studios in Liverpool, and I had to go and drop the car back off to him. Funny enough, it was at Hybrid, and when I got there, I was like, wow, it's amazing. I've seen it now.
Yeah.
So I've seen it like go from like you said, like this regionalised thing to this.
It's a monster now, honestly.
Absolute monster, yeah. But fair play, like to we've had relatively less success than that up to this point, but I know how hard it must be to do that.
But people go at different paces, though, innit? Yeah. It's just. I like surrounding myself around people that got drive, passion. They want to do it because that makes me want to do it.
So does Sophie own the business?
Yeah, she's a co-owner. So it's between her and a gentleman called John. Yeah. And honestly, they're just flying.
I love it.
And that's why she's so hard to tie down, because she's literally going here, there, and everywhere.
Well, funny enough, the day I met you at Greenmount was the last time I spoke to her.
Oh, she was my guest. So
yeah. And I literally said to her that day, because I messaged on, because I've got a friend, she's my friend on Facebook, and I know her from a distance. And I said to her, I'll get you at some point. So yeah, I will. So if you're watching this, talk to me a little bit. Like, one thing I'm really interested about is the sports thing. Yep. So I'll ask you about the accent first. What brought you up here?
Do you want the full story?
I'll
do the full story.
I do like a story.
Honestly, it's quite a good one as well, is what I think anyway. So
I always think the southern twang kind of, it helps people up north, because it helps them be up north, because there's like that, I don't hear that every day.
I'll be honest with you, I'm 6'5", do you know what I mean, Cockney lad, that moved to Wigan. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very little of us here.
It's a bit of a mad trade going from like Cockney to like Pilot and Wigan.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you a couple of stories about that. I did it on that sports event that we went to, when I was on stage. Yeah, but the long story is I used to be a bank manager back down south. I used to live in South East London, so Greenwich. That's why I'm a Charlton Athletic fan. We discussed it earlier on, best team in the world. So I was down there.
League One now, or Championship?
Championship, what are you on about? We're right there. Nathan Jones Army, yeah?
Oh, yeah, the Nathan Jones Army.
Honestly, he's absolutely ace, the most maddest Welshman you ever met in your life, and he just goes at it. It's brilliant. Yeah, so I was 24, I think it was 24. I went to Magaluf. Met a Wigan girl there. Longest relationship for about a year. And then I was a bank manager at the time. Got promoted, and my office was going to be based in Warrington. So I thought, sod it, go and move over to Wigan. So moved up to Wigan, the mum and dad's house. Was there for about 2 years, and then came home one day. She's crying, her mum's crying, everybody's crying in the house. I was going, what's going on here? And she goes, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I've met someone else. I was like, oh, who have you met? And she went, Zara from work. I was like, oh, so you're lesbian? She goes, yeah. So I was like, oh my God, like literally just threw me sideways. I used to do bodybuilding at the time as well, so I used to be absolutely massive, 22 stone of pure muscle. And then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I was literally halfway through buying a house. So the whole idea was at the time was buy the house, do it up, sell it, move back down south. Okay, where my sport is. The issue I had is that she moved to a nan's house, I stayed in a mum and dad's house, and then 2 weeks later I collapsed at work. I've always had stomach problems, but I collapsed at work, and I was really, really poorly.
With your stomach? With
my stomach, yeah. So they rushed me to Manchester Hospital. I was there 31 days. Wow. I lost 10 stone in weight. Wow. So basically that's a human being off me. Honestly, I went from a big musty bloke to looking like Ryland's skinny brother. It was really, really bad. Honestly, it was terrible. They literally gave me an OXO cube in hot water. Yeah. That's what I was eating every day. Oh, and once a week I was allowed to have custard. Yeah. That was the best thing in the world. Yeah. I was watching Gordon's Nightmares, right? Going, I'll eat.
Ever, by the way.
It's brilliant. I'll eat the food before he got there. Do you know what I mean? I was that hungry. Do you know what I mean? Even if I saw rats or anything else, I'll eat it. It's fine. That's how hungry I got. It turns out I've got Crohn's disease, and the whole meat and intestines is closed. And when not open for you, it could be done down to stress. Of course, I was going through a stressful time at the time. I've always had stomach problems since I was younger. And then, I told you a long story, but it does end well. So I then came out of hospital after 31 days. They said they'd done it medically, like through drugs. I was out of hospital. When I was in hospital, my house went through. So I got my house keys while I was in hospital. Yeah. Moved into my house, and 5 days after that, I got really ill again. Went back into hospital. Had to have surgery, so I had that meeting taken out, and I had a stoma bag put in place.
Wow.
And it was life changing. I went from being the fittest guy I ever knew in my life, went down to 12 stone, single, new house, stoma bag, off work, terrible. So I had 9 months recovery. Went back into hospital. Got the stoma bag reversed, so I don't have it anymore. And the nurse looking after me is now my wife.
Unreal.
So I chatted her up. I weren't allowed to go home until I farted. So I farted, high-fived in the middle of the ward and went home.
You had a stoma bag?
Yeah. Honestly, the worst thing is I went back to work when I had a stoma bag, and if anyone has ever had anything like that, I worked as a bank manager. So one of my jobs was to deal with bereavements at the time. And I'm sitting there doing a bereavement, and my stomach bag started farting because I had a Coke beforehand.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I'm literally there talking to this woman whose mum's died, and it's going like proper loud.
Really?
I've had to explain it to her. She just laughed at it, and stuff like that. So I was lucky enough.
I think that's the best thing to do in them sort of situations, though. Is just like literally just say what it is. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know how rude or how professional you want this, but I've got one really good stoma bag story.
But by the way, this podcast, Consensus Scale podcast, there's no real holds barred, really.
Oh, cool. So one good story about it is that I went out drinking in Wigan. So has anyone been to Wigan? It's been like King Street. Okay, back in the day, it used to be ace. It used to be like pound drinks for $12 and everything else like that. So I went out there, started drinking, and then met this girl there. Started chatting her up. Said to her, "Look, I've got a stoma bag." Explained the story, and you know what? It's probably the best pudding technique. That then months in between, I met my wife. Amazing. Took her back to my house, and then of course fell asleep because I was very, very drunk.
Yeah.
And the bag filled up. And I rolled over and it popped. And it went from the back of her head all the way down to the back of her ankles.
Oh my God.
I got nothing on me, I was fine. So I had to wake her up and go,
you have to get a shower.
Yeah. I explained it to her.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, she's going to absolutely kick off here. And you know what? Soundest person in the world. Went on about 2 more dates afterwards. Didn't work out because she was boring. Yeah. If she's watching this, I'm sorry, you was boring. We did take it in your stride. Good girl. You just took it in your stride. You was boring. Stuff like that. So and she's like, she was absolutely fine with it, and it was just the most. It's just real thing.
That is mad, mate. That is mad. So how long was it between that point and? So just to finish off that story, just to round it off, just for my own sort of mad curiosity, how does it go from lying in a hospital bed to your new wife?
Yeah, so I chatted up when I was in hospital bed. I don't know if you can tell from this, I'm a bit of a talker. Again, I think it's because I'm based in Wigan. Yeah. Like I said, I'm 6'5". They saw me height, Cockney. She goes, mixed the gene pool up a little bit. That's what I think it is. Yeah. But no, I was just laughing and joking. And like I said, I think the thing that sealed it was that it was generally the fart. I needed a fart before I can go home. To make sure that everything's working. And I farted while she was walking down the corridor. She saw, we both smiled, and we both high-fived. And I think since that moment onwards, she was smitten.
Yeah.
But no, so I left, added on Facebook, started chatting out. We was off and on for about a year. And then because she got out of a bad relationship, I've got, of course, out of a bad relationship. I'm recovering. And what I didn't want to do was, and what we both didn't want to do, is put our feelings that we had for other people, because we've been hurt, and then put them together, and then bring loads of baggage in. Yeah. So we both wanted to make sure we were on a great level. Made sure that happened. And like I said, Bob's your uncle now. She's my wife. Started dating. She moved in because I bought her a dog. And then after that, like I said, she then got pregnant. We've got our first daughter. It's called Indy. That's why it's called Indy Sport. And then we just had a second daughter. So our daughter's 5. Second daughter's 5 months old. And she's called Nola. Going to try and open up another business now called Nola. So that's going to be a big thing to do.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but everything I do is based around my family.
Have you always been sort of like that sort of ambitious entrepreneur type?
Do you know what? No. So I left the bank after I got better. Started working for the Combined Authority in Manchester. Yeah. I was dealing with it's a business sort of like semi-advisor around training. Yeah. Really had met loads of businesses, met loads of entrepreneurs, got the drive that way. Then I went to City Liverpool College, and that's where I met Sophie, because she used to work there. Got a little bit of drive then. And then the thing that I think pushed it over the edge is I started working for a company called Downtown in Business. I say it like no one knows it. Everyone knows Downtown in Business. I started working for Frank McKenna, Chris McKenna, and everything else like that. there for nearly 2 years, and just seeing the people they've got in their sort of membership pool and the drive and where they've come from, seeing the stories that it was, for example, Andrew from Wildfang started off in like his own house and look at him now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't I do that? Yeah. So it got to a point now I was in downtown, I was like, is there a need? Need was companies out there can't afford full-time sales directors. I can do that. So I went off, done that. And now it's just grown and grown and grown. I just meet more and more people, and every time I meet them, I get more passionate about it.
I love it, mate. I love stories like that. So is that where indie sport was just kind of born out of, just like the way for your daughter?
Oh, it was indie management consultants were born out of it, and then, like I said, indie sport was just born from the fact is that was doing well, and I really wanted to promote it, and I just found that niche, and I was like, do you know what? This is a really good idea, and I sat on it for about 9 months. Going and doing the research for it, seeing if there was a need for it, looking up all the other websites that do something similar. Yeah. And no one does it the way that I do it. And it was like, well, there is a real niche for it. So why not?
And how many people do you look after now?
On indie sport?
Yeah.
It's about, I can't think of the exact number how many people I look after, but I added up all the sponsorship opportunities that we got there, and it's probably about £250,000 worth of sponsorship opportunities and still active on the website.
That is unbelievable.
And we probably got through over about £75,000 worth of income for sports companies.
That's unreal, and that's, you know, you can quantify that as well. Like it's actual, like what you said about the twins. It's like, you know, they're able to do boxing full time because of that thing.
Yeah, because pass you what I do, pass you what they do themselves, because they're great promoters for themselves. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is the Croft twins.
Yeah, for context, this is the Croft twins. Now we do some work with Man Roberts, so we look after their social media, and the twins are basically brand ambassadors for Man Roberts.
Yeah,
and we do content with them. Now, with my content head on, they are an absolute dream to work with. You know, good lads, young, good looking, you know, sound people, really good at what they do. Really good at what they do. We even went up and filmed some content in Anqualla's gym where they train. Really welcoming. So as they move forward in the career, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Oh, 100% there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you actually look at the roster I've got, especially when it comes down to the boxers that I've got on the website, the majority of them are either done it and they're going trying to get back onto it again, or they're young, really like eager people to get to that next level. I mean, I've got a guy from Bolton called Alex Murphy, again, amazing boxer. Another guy, Nathan from Liverpool, again, going to be probably British champion at one point. 2 Croft twins. Honestly, the list is endless when it comes down to them.
We were filming with Garen and Johan, and they said their goal for next year was to become British champions.
Oh, sure, and
it's
definitely do it.
Definitely do it. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 fights away.
So I went to one of their fights in Manchester. I think it was. Actually, can't remember which one it was actually at the time, because I'll be honest, I've been so many fights recently, it's ridiculous. So I do apologise about that. But yeah, so we went to one of their fights in Manchester, and just to see their pull, what they can bring in. I'm sitting there, and it's coming on, and all suddenly the whole crowd turned Welsh, singing Welsh songs, and I'm going, bloody hell! Like, where's all this come from? And I started filming it and stuff like that. And honestly, if you want your business to be aligned with someone like that, these people have travelled up all the way from Cardiff and stuff like that to Manchester. It's not far, but it is far enough for some. Do you know what I mean? For a professional boxing, but it's not like going to see like world champions fighting or anything. It's just 100%. Literally people on their stepping stones to a bigger career. And there must have been at least, got to be about a couple thousand Welsh fans there just singing.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first introduced them to Man Roberts, because Frances, she's Welsh as well. I'm sitting there and they're speaking Welsh, and I didn't know until the end of the meeting if it went well or not. Because it was I didn't understand a word, anything was going on. I was going, please, I hope to God that this meeting's going to go well, because I know it's going to be a great fit.
You know what? It's so funny. You know, it's funny that you said, like, you know, always been that way inclined because I wasn't either. I'm 39 now, and I didn't have my first kids till I was 34. So we got a 5-year-old coming up to 5 in January, and a 1-year-old, and he was born in COVID. Now at that point in time, I was coaching myself, but I'd always wanted to do this like social media content thing, and but originally it was just video editing. Like all we done was video editing, and when I say video editing, it would be like you would send me videos, I would edit them and send them back to you. That was the whole business model.
Yeah, don't you think editing is the most hardest part of the actual thing?
It's the hardest part, but it's the most, for me, it's still the most enjoyable part, but the most time consuming. So from a business growth point of view, I can't just sit there and edit videos all day. The business would never grow, and I realised that quick. So the gym that I was in at the time, I was editing their videos, and then they said to me, I'll just pay you to just post it on social for me.
Yeah.
So I went down the whole social media management rabbit hole, and I didn't even do a course or anything. I just learned it. And then it kind of just grew legs and grew legs and grew legs. Now, if you'd have told me at that point that I would be in a content room studio of my own, where I spent multiple 5 figures more on getting it to where it is, I would never have believed you. Now, even just working with people like Fran and yourself, and like having people like yourself on, I had no network of people. And when like people say to me now, like, you know everyone, or you're getting all these cool people on the podcast and stuff. I'm like, when I started, I knew no one. No. Literally, my whole thing was being in a gym and editing videos at home. And I had to go out, and I was like a duck out of water at times. I had to network, and I didn't know anyone, and you feel a bit awkward, and everyone's kind of already knows.
So it's like speed dating.
Yeah, man. And like, I was just like, I reflect on it now, and I always make it a point when I go to like networking meetings or invite people on the podcast. I always make a point to like not really give it like a framework. I don't want it to be like an interview, like a question and answer session. I want it to be just more like it's a conversation. There's no got you moments. There's no got you moments. There's no like trying to catch you out or anything. It's just me genuinely curious about like other people. And when I see people like standing in the corner or whatever, networking, I make a point to go to them because I was that guy.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some inspiration in there somewhere.
I mean, with that, when you go to networking, so like, to come back to my sales sort of role on that side of things, there's a lot of like sales consultants out there. Got to say, you got to make sure you got a 30-second pitch. Make sure you got this. Make sure you got that. Every bit of my business is I'm generally having a chat with someone. Could be we talk about football. It could be we talk about our kids. Could be the fact is I tell them a story about how I moved up north and they take the piss out of me. Do you know what I mean? It could be absolutely anything like that. But I mean, when I go networking now, I get so bored if it goes up to me and goes, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Half the time I go, I'm a topless waiter. Or I'll go, I make something up on the spot. And half the time they look at me and go, oh, really? Yeah. And they look at my belly and they go, maybe not.
Maybe if you're 22 stone bodybuilder, maybe.
yeah. I've run a very good one. That's why I'm networking, trying to get the business up. But I generally hate that. I can understand becoming prepared.
Yeah.
Get it. But it's like when you're doing a sales call or anything else like that. If you're scripted, how many times have you been phone called and so on, you can tell they're reading from a script?
Yeah, definitely so.
You go along and go, oh, I'm not buying for you because I miss a number or whatever.
Or even worse, AI customer service boss.
Yeah.
Oh God, drives me nuts.
So instead of maybe having like a bit maybe bullet points going, these are the things I want to say, but I don't have to say them in that order, and I can get around it one way or another. And then also talking to the individual about themselves as well. Yeah. And it doesn't. That's the thing that annoys me.
That's it's important that I think. Just on that note, like how for the people you look after and across all your businesses, obviously we do social media content, so that's kind of our like sort of niche and stick. How important is social media in the role of like brand building and growth and stuff like that at the moment that you're seeing in your sector?
I'll be honest with you, every company I work with, marketing, social media, everything else like that it's like a second tax. It's there, you have to do it. There's no way you can't do it. You got to pay it. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you got a budget to pay it. And the thing is, I think the hardest thing when it comes down to social media and stuff like that is people pick the wrong people, and it doesn't suit their brand because social media is a story. You need to make sure that your message is getting across in the way that you want it to be made across. So there's no point, for example, McDonald's doing a corporate video that's very corporate orientated because that's not a client market. There's no point in me doing a for example, like for indie sport, talking about facts, figures, and stuff like that because sport is very stats orientated, but it's emotional. So anything I try and do, I want to put emotion into it because it's a very emotional thing. I mean, if you looked at stats and that's what you looked at in sport, you wouldn't support the team you're supporting. 100%. I would support Charlton Athletic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, if you looked at stats with crap, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't support Everton.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you a story though. Nathan Jones, the manager of Charlton, was the manager of Southampton previously, and he had probably had the worst Southampton team of all time. And he was the only manager to, in his whole time at Southampton, he was the only game that he won was as good as
Is that actually
literally before he got sacked for fucking Nathan Jones, bastard.
No. Honestly, he's like because he used to run the youth team at Charlton, so he knows it through and through. And he's
Isn't it funny? It's funny what you say there because like some people just suit certain roles. You know, like we've had players where, like with Charleston's a good example. Amazing for us. He was like loved by all the fans. Go to Tottenham, he's not so much.
No.
And he doesn't get that same love and support. Now, if he came back to us, it does something about that player that just suits us. Like when Pino was there as well, he signed for Tottenham, he ended up coming back.
Yeah.
And it's funny how some like managers, and you could apply this to business as well, some people just suit certain.
Oh, look, Chris Wilde at Southampton, Sheffield United. Yeah. Honestly, he can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And he's been back 3 times.
And
then they started ticking again.
Yeah.
And it's like because he is them.
Yeah.
And it's like the reason why Charlton went downhill was because Curbs left.
Yeah.
He wanted the England job and where to go.
Kersley was a great manager. I wanted him before Moyes. And even like when Moyes started years ago now, he just the few fans were calling for him to get sacked and saying the points Alan Kersley and all that. Does he even still manage Alan Kersley?
No, he's a pundit and all that. Yeah. He's gone past. He's in like 60s, I think now. Must be.
You would imagine so, wouldn't you? Easily.
But with Curbs, the managers that I really like is actually David Moyes, Pardew, Harry Redknapp, and all that, because I love wheeler dealers.
Yeah.
I love it. It was back in the day when we was none of this like £40 million for a minimum for a standard player.
Yeah.
It was like literally you've got £2 million. Okay, well I'll give you him if you give me him stuff like that. And I absolutely love it.
When we signed Yakubu, it was like 11 million quid, but it was like a double swoop for like Yakubu and someone else. And I'm thinking to myself, 11 million quid for them 2 players. And then, like, at the time, it was like 35 million was like world record transfer. I'm thinking to myself, we've got 11 million quid to sign 2 players. And that, like, all the other budgets in the league, it was like so low. And Bill Kenwright, bless him, when he was alive, like, he got a lot of shit off the fans, but he did a lot of good as well.
Yeah.
But he done so many weird deals to get transfers over the line. We're still paying some off now, years later. And it's like, it'd go. And like, he'd try and, the one who always sticks out was Jermaine Defoe. He tried to sign Jermaine Defoe, but he was like,
That's Charlton youth lad, by the way.
I'll give you 2 million quid here and I'll give you 4 million quid later. And if he scores this amount of goals, it's like, just pay the fee. Like, just pay the fee. We didn't have it to pay. And the amount of players we could have had, the team that we could have had.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Players we could have signed but didn't. It's like...
Well, part of the deal was Scotty Parker going over to Chelsea. He was going to get Joe Cole.
Yeah.
And was going to get Joe Cole. Was going to get... do you remember a guy who went to Chelsea called Kesman?
Yeah.
Yeah, was going to get him as well. And we was going to get all these like
Scott Parker was a great
superstars.
player, wasn't he?
Oh, Scotty Parker. He was good at what he'd done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He literally got the ball, span around, passed it, done.
Frills,
That's it, sorted. But you need that sort of player in there.
Yeah.
My best ever story though with Charlton, though, when you're saying about transfers, is that again, it's not 100% because there might be a couple of things wrong. So I'm not very good with my facts. But Millwall, we had this manager called Bobby Peters, who's from Belgium, and Millwall bought him back in the day, and they spent like £250,000 on him. Like a whole transfer budget, striker. They put him on the pitch, and it turned out he was the wrong one. They wanted to buy from the league, so it was 2 Bobby Peters in the league. One was smashing it in the Belgian league, and it was him. It was an average sort of striker. So they bought him, and then but he was a good manager. Him,
funny, But back then there was hiding places, so players got away with probably murder back then. Whereas nowadays, with all the fees involved and social media and the attention,
social media's killed it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember one time Everton played Tottenham, and I think it was like 1-1 in the game, and Ledley King got sent off, and that night he must have went back to London and went on a night out and got up to all sorts. And it was in the paper the next day, and it was like a big thing about him getting sent off, and then he was partying and he didn't care and all that. But like that was probably going on. You know, you hear all these stories about players back in the day, especially Everton players. Like even at one point, Howard Kendall, the old manager, he was so pissed at half time in one game that Gary Speed had to give the team talk. Stuff like that was going on. Nowadays with social media, none of that goes on because the attention is so vast on it that even if someone deletes a freaking Instagram post or changes the, deletes, what was it? So someone like it's like a player signs for another team and then they delete all the pictures of them in the old shirts and stuff. And that's just getting monitored. Literally, the attention is so vast on it. So it's interesting to me that, but social media, like, to me, I know I'm biased because I run a social media business, but it's always only ever been good to me, and I've always kind of picked what I look at.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. And for brand building purposes, it's absolutely mega. We always say I'm not emotionally attached to social media in the sense of like, if it was to go away, I don't really care too much for it. But what I do care about is attention's got to go somewhere. So what I mean by that is like, the television bust the radio. And then YouTube and podcasting's kind of taken over from traditional news outlets now. And I've got this idea that in like 10 years' time, YouTube will be basically controlling the whole of television, or Netflix will be controlling the whole, like Netflix just bought Warner Bros. Or something.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things where like the attention's just getting so vast on these platforms now that but that's what it is. It's the attention that you want, right? So if you're trying to build up like a personality or trying to build up a sports star or get sponsorships in, that's one thing we're looking at for some of our clients now, but like brand partnerships and stuff. And it's like you leverage that through eyeballs on your stuff, right? And social media is just the absolute key way to do that. So it's interesting for me to get that take from someone like yourself on like people who work with like upcomers.
Yeah, I mean, the weirdest thing about it is that when it comes down to when it is about the social media, when it comes down to, like I said, the sports side of things, is that if you're a business, I'm talking like a corporate point of view now. Okay, if you want to attach yourself to someone that's got die-hard fans that you could potentially sell to, or at least get your brand out there, why not go for sports? Do you know what I mean? Why not do that? Because again, like I said about the Croft twins, but there's also, like I said, other people out there like Alex Murphy, for example, in Bolton. If you're looking to go and Greater Manchester and you really want to go and hit that, and say, for example, you want to go and talk to, I'll give you an example. So Alex Murphy wants a fight sponsorship for 600 quid. Okay, I've got a company called Patterson's Plastering Solutions, just a plastering company, 5 people big, just doing jobs around people's houses or some sites and so on, right? He goes, right, Dave, help me out with, I want to try and boost my media content up, but I don't want to go for a media firm because I can't afford a monthly thing, so on and so forth. What can you suggest? I go, sponsor him for his fight, Alex Murphy, he'll be on his top, he'll promote you. Done that, and he got 6 jobs from the back of it, and he only paid 600 quid. Those jobs like $2,000 each. So it's like, you can see the multiplications when it comes down to that. But the issue being is what I find, and the hardest thing is when it comes down to commercial, is that you're paying for these athletes. If you don't use them and you don't partner up, for example, like Man Romps with you, with the Croft twins, you basically waste opportunity. It's like anything. You only get what you put into it.
I love it, mate. It's one of them as well where like I notice, especially with like the way budgets are at the moment and cash flows are for businesses. It's one of them things where like, if you can't quantify it on a P&L sheet or a spreadsheet, I can't do it.
No.
And it's like, how do you quantify Paul Sculthorpe or the twins for Man Rob? Like, they don't mind me saying this, you can't quantify that impact, because having Man Roberts on a pair of shorts or having the concept room on a football kit or a boxer's, embroidery or whatever, like, how can someone like me who's looking at a spreadsheet, for example, quantify, I'm paying. Like if you run like a Facebook ad, for example, you say, right, I'm going to put £1,000 in and I might get £5,000 back, and I can quantify that. You say, I'm going to have 5x return, happy days. If I pay £1,000 to a sponsorship, I'm like, okay, paying £1,000. Like it's almost like a thing, but it's interesting that because it's still work. You still got to do the work, and you still got to put the effort in, and you still got to make it happen. But the returns can be fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, but you can say it about anything.
I mean, I look at podcast sponsorship. So we're looking at building the podcast up and monetizing it next year. So I've been looking at ways this year of how to get the podcast monetized. So I've done a load of different like webinars and brand building stuff, and with brand sponsorships, like with the bigger podcasts, like the Joe Rogans of the world and the Chris Williams of the world, like an ad read, a 1 minute ad read on a podcast, they're making potentially tens of thousands for a 1 minute ad read. Madness. So there's loads of money to be made. But if you're like a marketing manager and you've got to directly report to your CEO or your financial officer or whatever, and be like, do you know what, we're going to spend 10 grand on this 1 minute thing. It's like, it's not tangible, but based on what you say, like when I say it,
it's not a 1 minute thing.
Yeah.
It's millions of minutes.
Yeah.
So if you get 10,000 people watching a podcast, it's 10,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
that's a fucking great way to put it.
And then it's multiple.
Yeah.
Because it can be watched more than once. Yeah. Or it can be it's on there forever.
Well, I'm fascinated with like books and podcasts and movies, and like this Netflix Warner Brothers thing's really fascinating me. Because when you make something like a podcast, like if we publish this podcast, for example, stick it on YouTube, that's going to be there for.
It's never going to go
forever, right? Like, you know, the value, like even you mentioning like Alex Murphy there, or the twins, the value that they might get from that, it's almost like skimming a rock on the surface of the sea and seeing what ripples go out, and that ripple effect can go on for potentially years, right? Like, and that's the value of content itself.
100%.
So the content itself, it's like you're placing content, not to sell your service now. I always think the person who sits in that seat, like maybe 6 months down the line, probably going to come from watching this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you don't know where it's all going to come from. Like you said, but I generally think unless you've got, if you look at the sales point of view, because that's my background, that's what I love. And if the only way that you're going to get hard stuff is if you've got hard results. So I've got a salesperson, they're making this amount of sales, so on and so forth. But you could spend 20 grand on a sponsoring awards. You could spend 20 grand on networking groups. You don't know really if you get in it. You just got to get your name out there. Yeah. You can spend 20 grand on marketing. You don't know if you're going to get it, but marketing takes time as well. And I think that's what some people don't realise as well. They think, oh, I put something out now, I'm going to get 10 grand back from that. It's not working like that. No, it's one of those things. It takes time. It builds up, and the more you're out there, the more it's going to be 100%. Put on there.
Great example of this is the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
Yeah,
spending £10 million a year. I think it's like something like the 12th highest sponsorship in the world, and like 8th in Europe. I think Spotify have got the new camp. I think that's like the highest one. But Hill Dickinson, for a fairly sort of localized law firm, to spend £10 million a year, like that is a massive. It's almost unquantifiable. Like, I mean, they're getting exposed to 50,000 people more every week live, and people on television. So it probably does. The math probably obviously does add up, because he wouldn't do it otherwise. But
it's not just a football, though, is it? It's people going for concerts, stuff like that. It's a statement piece. Yeah. Look at us. Look where we are now. If we can spend this, doesn't it make them a little bit more trustworthy? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it sounds silly, that, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's to me, it's
like an unconscious bias in someone's head. You're planting that unconscious bias in someone's head of like, they're the people to go to.
100%.
And like Man Roberts, who are operating on a really good level, but small level, and £10 million a year at the moment. The fact that they're like planting seeds now with the likes of the Croft twins, with Paul Scholes open his network, the opportunities they're going to get to expand their business into like them sorts of like numbers is going to be tremendous, right?
Oh yeah, ridiculous. I honestly can see Man Roberts sponsoring one big stadium or a couple. I can see them going massive, absolutely massive.
I don't think you mind me saying this, but me and Dave had a conversation recently about starting a podcast. But just having it for like sportsmen and ex-sportsmen and storytelling. And it's not really law. But I said, you don't really need it to be like law. You don't need it to be to do with what you do.
No.
Because not everyone's going to like dispute. Let's be honest, some topics are just boring. Like no one's going to, unless you're a very, very niched person in that specific thing, you're not going to want to watch a dispute resolution podcast.
Oh, definitely not. No, definitely not.
But you might want to watch the life story of, you know, Dion Dublin or I don't know, Paul Scholes or something like that. That's interesting, mate. So building a podcast up like that by default has a ripple effect that like rock on the waterbed.
Best company in the world that doesn't promote themselves. They're massive. So no one in the world has rival Coca-Cola. Pepsi tried to, but rival Coca-Cola when it comes down to the soft drinks. Yeah. The one that has now is Red Bull. Yeah. When does Red Bull, apart from a couple of adverts on TV with a cartoon, ever promote themselves? It's always they're working on emotions. They put like some box car event on, or they do like I said Formula One, or they'll promote someone who's doing something ridiculous.
Social, it's really interesting. I might clip this into the podcast. If you look at their socials, it's all about experience.
100%.
There's nothing in there that is promoting the can itself.
No.
I've got a funny story about that, by the way. This is Christmas out, by the way.
Oh, no worries. Hello, Chris, you're right. That's right.
There's a funny story about Red Bull. So it's funny what you said about Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola is widely accepted as the only place. It's the only soft drink where you can go to any place in the world.
Is there?
Whether it's a Michelin star restaurant or whether it's the Aldi or whether it's McDonald's.
King Street, Wigan.
Anywhere you can get a Coke from. No matter where you are. It's accepted. It's socially accepted to get that drink there. So if me and you were starting a soft drink brand now, the logical brain says, what have we got to do to compete with Coca-Cola? You say, right, okay, we want to make it better tasting. We want to make the branding better. We want to make it more value for money so you get more liquid in the can. So who's the biggest competitor? So you look at it and go, who's the biggest competitor to Coca-Cola?
Yep.
It's Red Bull. Now with Red Bull, it's a smaller can, it's worse branding, and it tastes worse. And this isn't like an objective thing that it was my opinion. This was put in, before Red Bull was a thing, it got put into blind taste testing. Yeah. And people said it tasted like utter piss and you've never tasted anything worse, which is mad, right? Considering it's like now the second biggest.
I've won every day, so yeah.
So why is it so successful? Because it defies all conventional logic for it to be the second most. And what was found was that because it gives you wings, and because people associate slightly sour tasting stuff with medicine.
Okay.
You think by drinking it, it's like taking medicine and it gets me higher.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So it become that addictive thing. Match that with social content where it's just high-end experience, sort of exhilarating.
Things you need energy for to actually get done,
Proper daredevil stuff, kind of stuff like parachuting and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you've got this like brand, which is like basically funding 2 Formula One teams.
Yeah.
And it's mad, that, isn't it?
I think I'm thinking the it's not the Formula One teams as well. It's the football teams. Yeah, they've got about 4 in Europe, haven't they, and a couple in South America and all that.
Things going on in space now. Like, where people like that. Felix Baumgartner a few years back, where he dived from space. Space jump, stuff like that going on. And all that is selling cans.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
By the way, if Red Bull is listening, I've got lots of athletes that needs to be sponsored. So give me a contact.
Chris, if you got any sponsor, if you've got any contacts in Red Bull, then yeah. He's a man in the know, this guy. So that's super interesting. So we've covered a lot there.
Yeah, hell of a lot. Yeah.
At this time of year, I tend to get a bit like nostalgic, a bit reflective on how the year's gone. So what's 2025 look like for you, and what does heading into 2026 look like for not just yourself but indie sports, and hybrid and all the rest of it?
I've honestly been a cracking year. Second daughter come along, personal second daughter come along. She got weighed the other day. She's only 5 months, but she's like 22 pounds or something like that. Really? And they basically said to her, "Oh, by the way, she's a fatty, but she's a big podgy little thing. She's absolutely mint. Sleeps all night, 12 hours. Do you know what I mean? Best kid in the world. I can't beat it. Do you know what I mean? So that for personal, that's been ace. That's a new experience, especially.
How's the sleep going?
Oh, fine. Like I said, 12 hours down.
Really?
Yeah, give her a bottle around 8 o'clock. She's gone until at least 7, 8 o'clock.
So our Charlie was born in October last year, and I don't think I've had a good night's sleep since.
My 5-year-old is worse.
Really?
It's like, daddy, and I have to go and get in her bed.
So our Harry, who's nearly 5, will literally go, "Daddy, I need to go to bed now. Just go and get in bed and just fall asleep." So I don't even need to put him to bed half the time. Probably like get a few games with him beforehand and whatnot. But Charlie, Jesus, don't want to tempt fate for you, mate, but I feel like everything gets better with a good night's sleep. Oh,
definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. No, slept really well. It's just that my sleeping problems now is like it's the 5-year-old. So like she literally gets up in the middle of the night and all I can hear is daddy, go in there. And she goes, "There's monsters." She's making it up. Do you know what I mean? So I get in bed and she calls it a nook. So basically, it puts her head under my arm. And then she just falls asleep. And then either I fall asleep and I'm in her bed all night and it's the most uncomfortable bed in the world for a 6 or 5 bloke to go in his kid's bed, right? Or I'll try and get up and try and get myself pulled that way. So yeah, so it's personal. That's mint. Everything's gone really well there. Professionally, for hybrid tech, I want to get them even bigger in the UK, but I want them to go national. So they've got a hell of a lot of interest. Like we just said before I come on the podcast, we've gone to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. A lot of companies around the world want English qualifications because they can use them universally. Hybrid's got that and they've got the facilities to do it. So just trying to get those links there. So that's my next aim for them for 2026.
Does that look like in real life? Does that look like open up new sites and stuff like
that? Do virtually open new sites. There's loads of options that we can do. I mean, well, I was over in Dubai and someone's opened up a university in Nigeria, of all places, and said they need tutors to be there, but they want to do it from an English training provider. So that's just something that we need to talk about. Might not go down that route, but it's an option, it's an opportunity. So I just want them to grow and grow and grow because I'll be honest with you, they're my biggest, my favourite client I've got at the moment. Indie management consultants, that keeps going the way it's going, but my biggest passion is the indie sport. Next year, I want to double the amount of sponsorship deals that we've got done. I want it to be that virtually every sports person, sports team, grassroots, everything that's in the Northwest to be on the actual platform by the end of next year.
I love it.
And it's definitely doable. I mean, it's 1,800 under 16s football teams in just the Northwest.
I'm going to speak to you off camera about this. So if anyone watch this space, I'm going to speak to you because I reckon we could put people and give people platforms on podcast, and I could obviously as a sponsorship thing and just give them a platform to talk about the shit and stuff.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Honestly, 100%.
So there's probably some synergy there, mate. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for inviting me along.
Thanks for just we like as I said, like I wanted to get to know you before today, and now I'm feeling like I know you better. So thank you for that.
You scratch the surface, mate. Honestly,
mate. Like I feel like 2026 because I've been so like sort of focused in work mode this year and getting this place where it needs to be. That next year it's going to be all about relationship building and taking things to the next level. So yeah, also going to speak to you off camera and maybe get some lunch or something at some point.
Definitely. Can I say about this though? Yeah. I've done a couple of podcasts now, and I can honestly say it's probably one of the best setups. And it was the most relaxing podcast I've done. Cheers, so thanks for that, because it wasn't too structured.
Well, I appreciate you say that, because I've really put a lot of time and effort into being a better conversationalist. I feel like it's important, right?
100%.
For anyone who wants to get involved in the doubling of indie sport and taking hybrid worldwide, where's the best place they can find you, or indie sport or hybrid? Or...
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is my home, so you can always message me on that. So it's David Matthews with 2 T's. Yeah. Indie Sport, the website is just indie-sport.co.uk, and Hybrid Tech is just hybrid tech, but tec.co.uk. Go on it, have a look. Honestly, one last thing I want to say about Hybrid Tech is that because they're so big now, they're getting national funding put in place. So gas engineers, electricians, plumbers can upskill themselves in renewables for free. So it's no brainer.
It's going to go bigger as well.
It's going to be massive,
because with all this AI stuff, people are going to. I always said, in a kind of jovial sort of way, I always said, if all this goes tits up, I'm going to go and retrain as an electrician or something, because all this AI stuff is going to go fucking bonkers, isn't it?
I'll give you an example of this. I mean, we got this thing called MLP, so it's like a night class you do to become a gas engineer. It takes a year to do. You pay for it. You got to pay for it. Last year we had 5 people start on it. This year we had 25. Because a lot of people were going, I don't want to be in this industry anymore. Oh, I don't want to be wherever I'm being. I want to go into like an actual thing that's going to be there forever.
You might see like the white collar work become blue collar, and blue collar become white collar.
100%.
I love it, mate. I'll put all the links around this video anyway. This should be released sort of end of next week sort of time. But thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. We are